It was a cold, gray morning at Crestwood High. The sky hung heavy with dark clouds, and the wind whispered against the old windows. Students dragged themselves through the halls, half awake, clutching coffee cups and backpacks. Among them was Lena, a quiet 17-year-old who had transferred just 2 months ago. She noticed something strange that morning. The security guard wasn't at his usual post, and the lights in the east wing flickered weakly.
At 8:35 a.m., just as the first bell rang, a chilling intercom crackled through the building. Attention students and staff. The school is now on lockdown. This is not a drill. Gasps spread across classrooms. Chairs scraped. The teachers rushed to lock doors and turn off lights. Lena's heart started pounding as her teacher, Mr. Calloway, whispered, "Everyone stay quiet, away from the windows." No one knew what was happening. The world outside their classroom fell into an eerie silence.
10 minutes passed. Then came the footsteps, slow, heavy, coming down the main hallway. Lena held her breath as the sound grew louder and louder, until it stopped right outside their classroom door. Someone jiggled the handle. The metal rattled once, twice, and then silence again. Mr. Calloway mouthed, "Don't move." From beneath the door, a shadow shifted, blocking the faint light from the hallway. Whoever or whatever was outside was standing still, listening.
The intercom crackled again, but this time the voice was different. It wasn't the principal. It was distorted, low, almost inhuman.
"They're inside. Don't trust the teachers."
The class froze. Mr. Calloway tried to call the office from his phone, but there was no signal. The power flickered, and for a split second, all the lights went out. When they came back on, the shadow outside the door was gone. But the doorknob now had bloody fingerprints on it.
The students began to panic. A girl named Brooke whispered, "We can't stay here. What if they come back?" Mr. Calloway hesitated, then nodded. "We'll move to the gym. It's bigger, safer." They quietly opened the door and stepped into the hallway. The air smelled of metal and something else, like decay. Lockers were dented, and a trail of dark footprints led toward the east wing. As they passed the library, Lena glanced through the glass and saw someone standing between the bookshelves, completely still.
Lena stopped. The others turned to her, confused. "There's someone in there," she whispered. The figure slowly turned its head toward her. Its face was pale, eyes hollow and black. It raised one finger to its lips and whispered, "Shh." Before Lena could scream, the lights went out again, and the sound of running echoed through the darkness. When the lights flickered back on, the figure was gone, but the library door was now slightly open, creaking back and forth.
They reached the gym and locked themselves inside. The echo of their footsteps bounced off the walls. A group of other students had already gathered there, around 20 in total. Everyone whispered different stories. Some said they saw a man in a black coat. Others claimed to have seen a student's reflection move differently in the glass. Lena sat on the floor, trembling. "This isn't just a lockdown," she muttered. "Something's in here with us." They waited. Time dragged. After a while, Mr. Calloway decided to check the hallway. He promised to come right back. He never did. Minutes became an hour. The students began arguing. Brooke said, "He left us. We need to get out." But as she spoke, a loud thud echoed from above. The ceiling vents rattled, and then something heavy crawled across them, scratching metal with its nails. Dust fell from the ceiling. A low growl vibrated through the air. Then a vent cover dropped to the floor with a clang, and a pale, twisted arm reached out from the darkness. Screams filled the gym. Students ran for the exits, pounding on the doors, but they were locked from the outside. Lena grabbed Brooke's arm. "We have to go through the locker rooms." Behind them, something dropped from the vent, landing with a wet thud. The locker room smelled of chlorine and mold. They ran past rows of lockers, slipping on the damp floor. A broken light flickered above them. In the reflection of a puddle, Lena saw a second pair of feet behind hers. She turned. Nothing. Then she looked back at the puddle again. This time, she saw a figure standing right behind her reflection, even though no one was there. She screamed, and they ran toward the emergency exit. They found a metal door at the end of the hallway, half hidden behind cleaning supplies. It led to the basement. Brooke hesitated. "Down there? Are you crazy?" "It's the only way out," Lena said. They descended the narrow staircase, flashlights shaking in their hands. The deeper they went, the colder it got. At the bottom was a long corridor lined with old-school records, broken desks, and graffiti that said, "Don't let them see your face." In one of the storage rooms, they found a dusty projector and old videotapes labeled Lockdown Drill 1998. Curiosity won over fear. They played one. The footage showed students just like them, sitting in a classroom, scared. Then the door opened, and something pulled the teacher out of the room. A distorted face appeared on the camera, whispering the same words they heard earlier. "They're inside. Don't trust the teachers." Brooke turned off the tape, trembling. This already happened. Suddenly, the projector screen began to bleed, dark red seeping down from the top like ink. The intercom came to life again, whispering names. Their names. Lena. Brooke. Stay where you are. Footsteps echoed from upstairs. Dozens of them. Lena whispered, "They're coming." The lights blew out with a pop, and in the pitch-black darkness, they heard the same voice whispering inches from their ears. Don't hide. We see you.
They ran through the basement hallways, up the stairs, through doors that seemed to shift places each time they turned. The school wasn't normal anymore. Hallways looped, classrooms repeated, and windows showed nothing but darkness outside. Brooke tripped and fell. When Lena turned back to help her, a pale hand dragged Brooke into the floor as if it were made of water. Her scream faded into the walls. Lena, sobbing, ran for the main entrance, clutching the keys she had taken from the janitor's room.
When the sun rose, police arrived at Crestwood High. Every door was still locked from the inside. Every classroom was empty. They found only one survivor, Lena, sitting in the front hallway covered in dust and blood, staring blankly at the floor. When they asked what happened, she whispered, "It wasn't a lockdown. It was a ritual. They said they'd come back every 20 years. Behind her, one of the officers noticed something carved into the wall. "See you next lockdown."